Hello everyone, this is Sensei Starman and welcome to the final chapter of Let's Play Superhero League of Hoboken. Well, last time we cleansed Buffalo of evil influences, we struck a blow for peace, we gained the power to eat things like a beaver, and now we stand just outside the Empire State Building, the final lair of Doctor Entropy. But before us stands the biggest fight we faced so far. And I'm being literal because before you can enter the Empire State Building, you have to go through a battle that includes every single enemy in the game, at least one of them. It's an endurance test, but thankfully, we have the powers, and we've got a masterful leader who knows how to stretch out resources. And everybody in the party gets one free hit, so let's get to it. When I say let's get to it,
I hope you don't treat her all.
He hit me!
Stick a fork in me!
let's see, can we confuse robots? Yes, we can. That's right, the bugs aren't actually mechanical. Okay, the armadillo cannot be confused. There's 30,000 XP for all that. Can we confuse a crocodile? We can confuse a crocodile. Okay, can't really confuse the animals, it seems. Nope, make sure that I'm clicking on a robot.
This is uncalled for. I am not a crook. You won't have transistor jowl to kick around and...
Forgot about those guys.
Toastbuster passes the extraordinary. Zaniac passes.
Those superhero uniforms.
Oxyman suddenly begins scratching himself. Alright, well, first things first.
Call an ambulance!
Let's do.
You've scratched my hard li-
That was just with his bare hands. And can we confuse the Bureau? We can totally confuse the bureaucrat. Okay, everybody's back to full strength. Not that we really need to do this, having just won that glorious battle, but it's just for the look of the thing, really. Alright, rising into the haze, water lapping nearly up to the doors, stands that most famous of Art Deco monuments, the Empire State Building. Do you want to see what's within? Yes, we do. This dramatic picture appears to be an image of the very building you're standing in. A caption describes it as the eighth wonder of the world, but of course from the vantage of these dark times, everything done during the Golden Age seems like a wonder. Although both flags are in tatters, the flag on the left is easily recognizable as the flag of the USA, still a revered icon generations after any vestige of the nation it represented ceased to exist. The flag on the right, a blue banner with an emblem, is less easily identified. The elevator doors are actually a pair of doors sliding in from either side of the elevator opening. The doors are now open. The party, 9 strong with all its paraphernalia, squeezes into what would otherwise be a comfortably large elevator. You use Ben's key to activate the controls. 2 buttons labeled Lobby and 102. You press the ladder. The elevator doors close. With a sudden jerk, the elevator starts upward. Your ears buzz, and your eardrums begin to feel as if they're going to burst. It's hard to believe that millions of people used to subject themselves to this experience on a regular basis. Surprisingly few moments later, the doors open and the party staggers out. Observation deck. You are now on the 102nd story, just beneath the famous radio antenna, where King Kong clung as he met his demise. Windows ring the room, offering views of the time-ravaged semi-submerged city. An elevator lies open to the south. As you enter, Doctor Entropy looks up from a machine which resembles a giant movie projector. He smiles evilly as metal bands snap the entire party into a row of cinema-type seats.
Glad to see you. What's a movie without an audience? Of course, my projector is a projector with a difference. Instead of merely projecting images, it can turn those images into reality.
He pauses in order to give the party time to absorb the dreadful possibilities this presents.
So what shall I use for my initial test? Jurassic Park? The Blob? The Gidget Goes Hawaiian? Of course! Considering our locale, only one choice is fitting.
He opens the film can labeled King Kong. In the name of all things decent, stop! You cry. But the film is already running. And we clicked on that too soon, but yeah. He just made King Kong real. He screams as Kong drags him into midair. 100 floors above the debris-strewn pavement, the falling glass cuts the metal bands, releasing the party. Kong sniffs at the air, sensing that there may be bananas present. Okay. You know what we gotta do. Use the superpower on the bananas. The mighty magnitude touches the bunch of bananas. They expand to 300 pounds and topple from your inventory to the floor of the room. Kong feels certain that there are bananas around here somewhere. He begins waving his hand back and forth, growling and swiping his huge arms about the observation deck, trying to find the bananas. Magnitude does his thing. The meta banana swells to 3,000 pounds. The ape is getting really excited now. He starts pounding his chest and roaring. Entropy, swinging in Kong's grip, does not look amused.
Shut up and just get me away from this beast!
The bananas explode back to their original size, or so magnitude assures you. They just look bigger now, Tape, because they're in an enclosed space. By this time, you've learned to just take his word for it. With 30,000 pounds of bananas lying around, well, let's just say the observation deck is getting to be a really slippery place. King Kong goes ape, so to speak. He finally spots bananas, reaches in to grab them, and begins devouring them 100 bunches at a time. He should peel them first, muses the mighty Magnitude. He'll get a tummy ache. He is completely distracted by the bananas. Which, I believe, gives us the chance to get to the projector. And what the heck, unplug it.
Why not just turn it off?
You examine the projector from a safe distance, trying to find its weak points and looking out for boogie traps. Robomop says, why not just turn it off?
Why not just turn it off?
Okay, fine, we'll just turn it off. Just as Kong scoops up the last of the bananas, you take advantage of his distraction to flip off the projector. As the lights flicker and die, Kong becomes more and more ethereal until he disappears completely. Entropy, no longer supported, plunges 1,400 feet to the street below. A moment later, 15 tons of bananas land on top of him. The resulting explosion completely atomizes his body, spreading his molecules across the tri-state area. The other party members boost you onto their shoulders, carrying off to a well-deserved retirement. All members of the party gain 4,900 experience points. For all that does when we've got 2 million and a bunch of medals at this point. The end. Watch for more adventures in the Superhero League of Hoboken and Entropy's Revenge. Except they never got around to making it. You have amassed 2,480,340 experience points, which gives you the rank of Superhero First Class, twice Deca-rated Demetrius. Under your leadership, the Superhero League of Hoboken has achieved the status of a level 8 league. You prevailed in 207 of 207 combats, dispatching 1,117 opponents. You have completed all of your current missions. We are officially the #1 superhero league in the Northeast Conference. And that's it. Pretty much. I mean, yep. Steve Merzetsky designed this. This was his last game with Legend Entertainment before he went on to found a different company. And honestly, this is a little lost treasure. From what I read up, this was the least profitable game that Legend ever made. In fact, they barely sold 10,000 copies of it when it originally came out. And then they tried doing a re-release with new art and a CD-ROM version, and still didn't do much better. Even with Random House, which had bought the company at that point, or was trying to partner with them, trying to promote it a little more. But honestly, the big issue with this game, I think, given when it came out, was that it came out at a time when the... Oh, and Steve Merzetsky gratefully acknowledges the help and support of all these following people and organizations. That agency, Bob Bates, and the New York Yankee Baseball Club. And hey, Lincoln Public Library. Yay for cheering the libraries. But, yeah, and just kicks you right back to load screen. Or, you know, not the load screen, but your desktop. But, yeah, I think the big problem with this game was that it came out at a time when the game industry in the mid-90s was starting to solidify to become more genre-focused. Because back in the day, gamers were gamers. It didn't really matter if you preferred sports sims or RPGs or, you know, shoot-'em-ups. If it was a video game, you'd give it a try. You know, games were games. But it was around that time that some of the companies were starting to focus on doing, you know, sports sims or RPGs. Like Rare was starting to become the RPG guys. Activision was becoming an unwieldy conglomerate that tried to do everything. You know, Sierra did adventure games. LucasArts did Star Wars stuff and adventure games. And while some of the game designers were trying to do more and more experimental stuff, play around with the genre, things like Quest for Glory, which combined adventure games and RPGs, it was just starting to get to the point where people were like, well, I'm an RPG player, so I don't really care much about shooting games. You know, games like Doom were making people into diehard FPS players, and they weren't really willing to give Sierra games a shot. And here we bring this game, Superhero League of Hoboken, which is unlike what Legend was making for the most part, which they were continuing the legacy of Infocom with crazy, impossible adventure games. And they make this game that, well, it's an adventure game, but it's also an RPG. It's not a typical RPG, though, because it's not fantasy. In fact, you're playing superheroes. But the superheroes aren't typical superheroes, and it's also a comedy. So there wasn't really a set market for this one game, which is unfortunate because as somebody who enjoys comedy games, superhero games, and RPGs, this was tailor-made for my tastes, and I'm sorry that I missed out on this when it came out originally. But, yeah, you can get this one on good old games, and it does have some replay value. You can try different stuff, get the different isotopes, try all the things I didn't. You know, maybe buff up Princess Glovebox so that she's actually a capable frontline fighter, so you can have her up at the front and not have to keep pushing Toastmaster back to the front. Not that it mattered, because we handled that final fight pretty easily, all things considered, even with Oxide Man, who can't really take a hit that well up at the front. But, yeah, Superhero League of Hoboken. That was it. I like it. I recommend you giving it a shot for yourself. So, with this slightly shorter than usual chapter done, I will thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me play through this game as much as I enjoyed playing through it. And I will, thank you all. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all whenever the next adventure begins. Take care until then.